Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are on the job hunt and looking to update your CV, now this video is for you. Today we'll be discussing tips on how to write a good CV, how to structure it to potentially land yourself an interview, or even better, get a job. So let's get right into it. Tip number 1, having your personal statement as an introduction on your CV. Now, what is a personal statement, or how do we write a personal statement? What comes to my mind when I think of a personal statement is, that annoying question that people like to ask you, especially on a date, and the guy will be like,
"What do you bring to the table?"
and the lady will be like,
On the table.
unfortunately, this time, ladies, sorry to bust your bubble, but you need to communicate your value, right? And just when you're writing a personal statement, just in the back of your mind, just hear a voice of someone screaming, this is your time to brag now or forever hold your peace. How do you brag? You literally write all your achievements, you introduce yourself, your name, your surname, you just summarize a little bit about yourself, then you go into your education, you list all your degrees there, all your courses, all your trainings, all your certificates, all your achievements, promotions, compliments from clients, the size of your clients. That's where you go fully in. Actually, once the hiring manager reads your personal statement, they should already know, okay, I want to call this person at least for an interview. So basically, it's a summary of everything that you are going to write on your CV. Somebody should be able to stop there and be like, I need to call this person. So it's not a time to be shy or modest about your achievements. That's where you fully go in. Like if you've received awards, list them there. Every positive thing in your career, the compliments you got, that's where you list it. And this will help you. The benefit of this as well is that it will help you not have a very long CV, which takes me to my next point. Do not make your CV to be too long. Just imagine the employer going through your CV, each and every page, trying to at least match the pieces or get relevant information, hoping there's something there. To be honest, I honestly don't think they actually have the time to do so, because there's thousands and thousands of people competing for the same job. So do not sabotage yourself before even competing, because having a long CV is not only tedious to the hiring manager. For instance, just imagine all the relevant things that you wanted to communicate on page 4 or page 5. By that time, chances are the hiring manager might not even get to page 4 or 5 if your things are complicated, there's no structure. Because a well-written CV should take between 1 and 2 pages, unless if you are like on director level, you have 20 years of experience or more. But if you are still maybe under 10 years or 15 years, it can be between 1 and 2 pages or 3 max. So the mistake of having a CV that is too long is normally done by people who are well learned. Like if you have multiple degrees, because for instance, imagine you start with your high school studies. A lot of people like to list all the subjects they did in high school, all their hobbies, their extramural activities. And to be honest, the hiring manager doesn't really care about that. All they want to see on your CV is, do you have skills? Can they transfer the skills that you already have to the job that they're advertising? Are your skills transferable, in other words? So you don't have to like go into detail with all the subjects that you've done in high school. You can just summarize. And imagine you do that, you list all the subjects you did in high school, then you move to varsity or tertiary education, you list all the courses you took in your degree, all the trainings, all the things you've done, and then you move to your honors degree. By the time you're done with your honors degree, you're probably on the second page, especially if you're using bullet points, or even page 3 if you have a lot of educational background. So now, talking about work experience, also when you now move into the work experience section, do not mention all the outdated jobs you've done. You know, normally after maybe you've graduated and you're still looking for a job, then maybe you got a job as a bartender or a waitress, and you've been maybe, you know, job hopping around jobs that are not really relevant to what you're applying for. So if you already had jobs that are relevant to what you're applying for, then there's no need to now mention the ones you've done when you were still looking for jobs, when you were still a cleaner, when you're still a bartender. Those things you can actually, if they care to know, they can ask you about the gaps in your CV and you can explain to them in the interview. Then you have a story to tell, but on your CV it's not relevant at all. And tip number 3, your CV should not be too short. A lot of people who make this mistake are normally recent graduates or people with little to no work experience. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, but I don't have work experience. What do I put there apart from my studies? So this is now actually an advice, right? If you're a graduate or you're unemployed, give yourself work experience. And I'm not talking about commuting to industrial places, which can be costly, to go volunteer your services. Rather, do it in your local community. Go to your local schools, local businesses. If you have a neighbor who has a business, offer your help, your support. If you have a family member who has a business, you can assist them learn. And yes, they don't have to pay you, unless if they're actually willing to pay you, they can. But don't go with that expectation. Go with the hunger to learn so that you can have some form of work experience. Because even if you think that, but it's not relevant to what you've studied, trust me, you will learn so much about the workplace. You will learn a lot of skills, soft skills. You'll learn how to speak to people, time management. There's a lot you can learn, and all those things you can then put them on your CV. You can offer to do admin. Almost every job at the end of the day has some administration part of it at the background. So you can also learn that. There's a lot. You can also employ yourself, sell sweets. Like, just be curious on what you can do to actually gain some work experience, right? If you're selling sweets, you are basically in sales. You are persuading people to buy your product. You are probably marketing your product. Those are the things you can put on your CV. And I promise you, especially if you're a graduate, this will set you apart from other graduates. If there's a graduate program or internship, they will probably prefer you because you have a story to tell. You are proactive. You are doing something about your situation. And not only will this help you to put something down on your CV, but it will also help you with mental health while you're waiting for a job. Because imagine not having anything to do at all and just constantly applying and applying. It can make you very anxious. So this will help you. Even better, if you are a creative person, you can start a blog, start a YouTube channel, be vibrant on your social media pages. And these are the things you can show to the employer or the hiring manager. You can share topics about things you've studied or your journey to looking for employment. I promise you, there's a lot of skills you will learn. You'll learn how to edit, how to formulate topics, how to engage people. Can put that on your CV. You are proactive, you are creative. That it's actually it's very impressive. So this is an advice to you, so you don't just write your education only, but have something else to put on your CV and have a story to tell in the interview. Tip number 4, you need to tailor your CV with each job application. Normally people who make this mistake are people who are just applying to every job opportunity they see out there. Every advert they see, they're applying, and then they don't have time to actually read the job description, understand it, look and see if they have transferable skills they can use to match that job description. So they're just applying, and I don't think you can get results that way. So rather, read the job, go through the job description, go through the skills, see if you have skills that match that. See if you have the work experience that match what's written on the job description, and write that down. And when you're busy tailoring your CV, do not make the mistake of not communicating the impact you have. Don't just list all your job responsibilities, all your duties, a full page of duties. That's also wrong. Summarize and communicate the impact. For instance, if you are in marketing, write about the campaigns you've done and what the end result was. If it increased sales or increased engagement or followers, write that down, right? If you are dealing with customers, write ways that you contributed to get customer retention. Don't just be listing all the things you're doing. Also communicate the impact. Tip number 5, proofread your CV. Do not make like silly mistakes, misspelled commas. Your grammar should be correct, because this can leave such a bad impression to the hiring manager, especially if, let's say, you'll be communicating with clients on emails, and if your CV has errors, chances are they're not gonna call you. So proofread your CV, or even better, ask somebody to read it. Tip number 6, do not write personal information that can get you discriminated against. And this is actually very, this is honestly up to an individual, because some people go as far as not specifying their age, their gender, their race. For me, okay, I do list all of those things, because as much as I don't want to waste the employer's time with interviews, I also don't want to waste my own time. So if you know you're looking for a female or a male, it's better for me to not be called than go then waste my time, right? But some people believe that it's better for you to actually be afforded the chance to tell your story, and maybe you can win them over. So this one is literally up to you. But there's also people who request for your photo. Some people don't feel comfortable about that. I don't really care, to be honest, because and I get it, because you can literally get discriminated against based on your looks. Some people might prefer dark-skinned people or light-skinned people, or tall or slim or fat, whatever the case is. So some people literally don't want to do that, just to at least be given a chance to get an interview. But yeah, this is up to you really. And now this leads me to my very last and very, 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 very important tip, which is do not forget to pray. Do not forget to pray. Remember, commit everything that you do to the Lord. You need to make known all your plans unto God, and He shall establish them. Remember, all good and perfect gifts come from God. So seek God. He's the rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. Believe that He will lead your path to the right employer. And also, in doing this, guard your heart, because looking for a job can be very time consuming, and if you're desperate for a job, it can also give you anxiety. So that's it from me from this video. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.